building a team of generational talents, and the first player we're going to add is the most recent generational talent, Landon DuPont from the Everett Silvertips. Is just one of the 18 generational talents we are going to be adding today. Landon DuPont, welcome to the team. What the hell was that in the background? If you guys are excited to see a team of generational talents go at it and try and win the Stanley Cup, then make sure to like, subscribe, and let's get right back into it with another generational talent from the WHL. You guys know where this is going, from the Medicine Hat Tigers, Gavin McKenna. Now, to be honest, I'm kind of a D1 hater. I don't think Gavin McKenna is as good as DuPont and a couple other guys we're going to see on this list. But generational doesn't, come around often, and I think Gavin McKenna has the potential to be a generational talent. I mean, Landon DuPont, one of the top defensive scorers in the WHL. Gavin McKenna had 2 points per game when he went to the World Juniors. One more player that is not from the NHL, and if you guys can guess who it is, there he is, Jesper Wallstedt, the 20th overall pick in the 2021 draft. Everyone remembers this guy was so hyped. Still hasn't cracked the NHL, but goalies do take a lot of time to develop. He's only 22. Yeah, if you guys keep hearing the smoke alarm in the background, I don't know what to tell you. It's been doing that all day. I'm not going to sleep tonight, but let's keep it moving. Funny enough, the reason Jesper Wallstedt can't make the NHL is because of a guy in his own system, on his own team, a former #1 overall pick, and he has lived up to the hype. Marc-Andre Fleury, welcome to the team of generational talents. Oh man. Doesn't show their award history there, but Marc-Andre Fleury, 3 Stanley Cups. I think he only had 1 Vezina. The numbers might only say 912, 260, 561 wins, playing at a goaltending level until you're 40. That is insane. Marc-Andre Fleury, maybe not #1 pick worthy, but definitely one of the generational goalies. Our last goalie spot, but we can do that later. Let's go back and let's fill up some of our defensive positions, starting with a 95 overall. I mean, this guy's defining the next generation of hockey for defensemen. Quinn Hughes, look at this, 92 points plus 38 last year, and you're telling me that's not generational? He's doing it again this year. And what's crazy is Quinn Hughes could only be the second best defenseman we ever see in our generation, because Cale Makar, people are saying this guy has potential to be the greatest defenseman all time. He's a point per game, and this year he's going to keep up that over point per game total. Now, will he be better than Bobby Orr? You guys just kind of got to let me know. But, we could do one with former generational talents if we go back to the alumni, but we're not doing that right now. But let me know if you'd like to see a team with Bobby Orr, Wayne Gretzky, and all these guys. But we're just doing current generational talents for this video. Speaking of generational defensemen, Hughes and Makar, they are generational because of what they have done in the NHL. This guy was generational for so long. Everybody thought he was going to be the best defenseman of all time. Bobby Orr comparisons, #1 pick in the draft, and he has lived up to that expectation. Rasmus Dahlin is definitely a generational talent, and he will be joining our team today. Dahlin was definitely a generational defenseman, but this next guy, you guys may not think of him as generational, but I have a different take on generational when we need 23 players, and that is Miro Heiskanen. In my opinion, a generational Finnish defenseman. Greatest Finnish defenseman, is it Teppo Nieminen? It could be, but I think Miro Heiskanen has a chance to pass him up as the greatest Finnish defenseman of all time, and I'm so excited to see how he carries that blue line in the Four Nations tournament. We will come back and get our last 2 generational defensemen, but let's get a couple easy ones out of the way. We have to go to the Pittsburgh Penguins first of all. Sidney Crosby, I mean, this guy was touted as the greatest prospect ever, and he has lived up to those expectations and even more. I mean, one of the greatest players in NHL history, and if you're going to put Sid there, you have to put the greatest Russian player of all time, Alexander Ovechkin, as well as joining him on this team. I mean, if you're going to put Sid and Ovi, though, you got to put the best duo from today, and that is Nathan McKinnon and Connor McDavid. These guys were child prodigies. I remember when they were talking about these two guys, like they're going to be the next coming of Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux. And in my opinion, both these guys have lived up to all that and more. But now let's add a generational talent who hasn't really reached his ceiling. Granted, he's way younger than these guys. There's still a lot of time, but he's stuck in the depth chart in this deep Seattle team. It's all the way down here. Shane Wright. Man, this guy was supposed to be so insane. I think that COVID development year paused a lot of Shane Wright's development, but he will be back, and I still believe that Shane Wright will become a great player. Maybe not generational, but he had that tag, and that's why he gets into our team. We're going to include Shane Wright. I mean, there's only one other player we can include from the 2020s. Yeah, you guys know who it is. Connor Bedard. Maybe the greatest prospect a lot of the kids watching have seen in their life. I don't know if they were old enough to remember the McDavid sweepstakes. Connor Bedard has, so far in my opinion, people say he hasn't lived up to the generational. I think he has. He's been all right. He's been like pretty good. But there's another player in his same draft that was generational and somehow slipped all the way to 7. And I know you guys don't know, but this guy was supposed to be one of the greatest prospects ever seen. He was labeled better than Ovechkin. And I think so far in his time in the NHL, Matvei Michkov has shown glimpses that him and Bedard may be the next McDavid McKinnon, maybe the next McDavid Eichel, right? Maybe the next Crosby Ovechkin Malkin. Like, this is a crazy duo from one draft. Often that you get one generational player in a draft, but you get 2 generational players and one of them fell to 7. Shout out Philly for taking Matvei Michkov, and they landed themselves a stud. Now these guys like Bedard's from Canada, Michkov is from Russia. These countries are used to producing superstars, all-stars. But you know what's not used to producing these guys? Arizona, the desert. Austin Matthews is a very unlikely story. And oh wait, he didn't put up 70 times. Matthews, in my opinion, has lived up to all the hype and is definitely worthy of that generational talent. If you guys disagree in all of what he does so far, we're just talking about much confidence about 2 generational players in the draft. Well, there were 2 generational players in Connor David's draft, and Jack Eichel may have been the greatest American prospect I've ever seen in my life. Imagine coming so close to dethroning Connor David as the number 1 pick. Nobody would know. He was miles ahead of everybody else in that draft. To be honest, he still might be the second best player. It took a while. Once he got up there, Jack Eichel really found a home in Vegas, and now he's a superstar. When a superstar comes from a random place, that is when their generation odds are stacked against them. That is why I think this is a non-draft about generational talent. Imagine telling somebody that some kid from Germany is going to Mark for 10 years, 20 years ago. Nobody would believe you, and all kinds of stupid. But Leon Draisaitl has defied every single expectation, and he has become one of the best players in the league. And that is why he is making our generational talent team. The players you guys don't remember who was touted as the next Sidney Crosby, the next, I don't know, Connor McDavid. This guy was maybe, he honestly might have been more hyped than, I don't know, like you know talking about the Shane Wright for sure. And that was this guy on the New York team, like after he went number 1 in the draft. I mean, he's taken a while to develop, but I mean, he's not to develop their players. I think it's like a top 10 so hyped coming out of that. He gets into this generation. Last player on defense that we are going to add to the starting lineup is from the Florida Panthers. Got exceptional status. Aaron Ekblad definitely deserves to be on this team. Exceptional status, and while he hasn't had the career that most people thought an exceptional status player has, he's a Stanley Cup champion. He's one of the top right shot defensemen in the league. He's a first line player, and I won't say he's lived up to it, but he's definitely not disappointed. The name Aaron Ekblad, welcome to the team. Now, there's an extra slot on forward, defense, and goalie, and if this smoke alarm will shut the frick up, we are going to go over here to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we're going to go to John Tavares, and he is going to be our final generational player. First overall pick, first player to get elite status, had one of the greatest, if not the greatest, CHL careers of all time. John Tavares, welcome to the squad. We need one more defenseman. Players who come from unlikely places and put them on the map. That is why we are headed to the Nashville Predators and picking up their captain. 93 overall. Who expected a 96-point defenseman to come from Switzerland? And if you say it's you, you're capping your ass off. Roman Josi, if you're the greatest player in a country's history, you have to be a generational talent, and that is why Roman Josi, welcome to the squad. This player in a country is a generational talent. That does not mean like the greatest player for Hong Kong, bro. Like, I'm talking like hockey countries. Like, Switzerland's been on the map for so long, and Roman Josi is the greatest player to ever play for Switzerland, and there have been so many great players. So I believe he's a generational talent, especially for a European defenseman, not from Sweden, Finland, Russia. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think of that one in the comments. And I know you might be like, yo, there's not 22 and about to be 23 generational talents. Each one is generational in their own way, has their own story. Maybe they were a child prodigy. Maybe they're generational right now. Maybe they were generational before. Maybe they're a future generational player. And the final player we are going to add, in my opinion, there's no debate though, and that is from the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that is Andrei Vasilevskiy, a first round pick as a goalie, 3-time champ. He's definitely one of Vezina. There we go. Here is your team of 23 generational talents, and we're gonna see if this team can win the Stanley Cup. Let's go. Do you guys know where Lexington is? I'll give you $200. Actually, if there's somebody from Lexington, I'll give you 500. I'm joking, I don't got that type of money. Anyways, here are the lines for the generational talents. Comment down below how much you think, how many wins do you think these guys are getting. That power play is so nasty. Oh my god, that is outrageous. And then in net, they have Vasilevskiy and Marc-Andre Fleury to predict that this team gets 52 wins. I don't think our Young Stars team made the playoffs, so let's see what this team does. Make sure to like, subscribe as well, and let's get right to the end of the season. Set the NHL record for most wins, most points, least amount of losses. 60. Whoa, spread out, but 68, 8, and 6 is insane. We gotta check out what's happening here. 68, 8, and 6. If you compare it to the entire league, we are 30 points above everybody else. I mean, I guess that's the generational talent effect. We have 5.49 goals. That is a goal above everybody else. Goals against, we are first. Power play, our power play was 40%. Hello. And then our penalty kill was not the best in the league, but it was top 5. Fleury was 17, 1, and 1. Vasi was 51, 7, and 5. Don't worry about these save percentages. If the team is too good, the goalies let in a ton of soft goals anyways. On defense, Cale Makar had 100 points. Quinn Hughes had 74. Josi, Dahlin, that was a plus 60 for Rasmus Dahlin on the second pair. Aaron Ekblad, Landon DuPont, they're 12 points plus 15 as a 15-year-old, by the way. And then if we check out the forwards, Nathan McKinnon 145, Connor McDavid 126, Leon Draisaitl 125, Matthews, Crosby, Eichel. That's all our point per game. Then Ovechkin, Bedard, Michkov, Tavares, Shane Wright there, 15 goals. And Gavin McKenna was a minus player. That is crazy. Real Nathan McKinnon led the league in goals, but our McKinnon and Draisaitl tied for third. Connor McDavid on our team had the second most assists in the league. Our Nathan McKinnon had the most points in the league. Austin Matthews had the most plus minus for defensemen. Quinn Hughes in Vancouver, the real Quinn Hughes, led there. Shea Theodore had 21 goals, and I'm assuming plus 60 is the most. And then for goalies, Bassey had the most wins, is because they are the young guys. And Gavin McKenna is probably more of a generational talent than Lafreniere. I mean, probably, we'll see how that turns out in the NHL. But we're going to throw Lafreniere back in there. We're going to throw Miro Heiskanen back in there for the playoffs and see how much better this team gets now that we have our full strength team. In round number 1, this is not an easy matchup here, but we won 68 games in the regular season. Let's see, are we going to go through the playoffs? We did lose 1 game to Florida, so that is a bit sketch. But we get out of there in 5. New York Rangers. Let's see how this one goes. We lose game 1, we lose game 3. What is happening? But we win in 6. Oh my god. We have Austin Matthews and the Toronto Maple Leafs. We just won a game 12-5. What is going on? We are in the finals against the Colorado Avalanche. 2-1 on the Avs. We have lost already half of the games we did in the regular season in the playoffs, but we are 15-4. Let's see what happens in this final game. Can we close it out here in game number 5? It is 2-1, McDavid and Draisaitl. Who else owning the Avs? Of course the Oilers are, even though I don't think they've ever owned them in the playoffs. But Miro Heiskanen back in the lineup makes it 3-1. I think this one's over, fellas. Do we even need to jump in? We know who's winning. I paused the game and it still went through. Anyways, that doesn't matter. The Lexington Lions are Stanley Cup champions, and that is a sick name. Austin Matthews, 31 points in the playoffs. I kind of expected to win. I didn't expect to be this dominant. Look at all these players, over a point per game. That is insane. I do check all the awards. Stanley Cup, what? Why can't I check the awards? What? It's Stanley Cup, Lexington Lions, Presidents, Lexington Lions, Prince of Wales, Lexington Lions. We are 3 for 3. 4 for 4, Nathan McKinnon with the Art Ross. 5 for 5, Nathan McKinnon with the Hart. Cale Makar with the Norris. That's 6 trophies. Kyle Connor wins the Lady Byng. Cutter Gauthier wins the Calder. Conn Smythe, Austin Matthews, that is 7. Vezina to Vasilevsky, that is 8. William Jennings to Vasilevsky, that is 9. Phil Masterton, doesn't matter. Selke goes to Matthews, not on our team. 10 with Nathan McKinnon. And we get 10 trophies. So that is the Generational Talents team. Comment which team next you guys want to see below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.